Ajahn, do we do the chanting as yesterday?
Oh, I thought you guys did chanting already. No, not yet.
I know, we only did the puja.
Okay.
Yeah, we have not done the yesterday's. Yeah, we can skip the arahang since Ajahn has already done the arahang. You can start with the Namo Tassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Arahang Samma Sambuddho Vijjacharana Sampanno Sugato Lokavidu Anuttaro Purisa Dhammasarati Satta Deva Manusana Buddho Bhagavati Bhagavata Dhammo Sanditiko Akaliko Ehipassiko Opanaiko Pachatang Veditabo Vinyuhiti Bhagavato Sāvaka Sangho Ujupatipano Bhagavato Sāvaka Sangho Nyāyapatipano Bhagavato Sāvaka Sangho Samicipatipano Bhagavato Sāvaka Sangho Yadidang Cattari Purisa Yugani Atta Purisa Pugala Esa Bhagavato Sāvaka Sangho Ahuneyo Pahuneyo Dakineyo Anjali Karaniyo Anuttarang Punya Ketang Lokasati. Okay. Okay, may we request for the 3 refuges and 5 precepts, Ajahn?
Yes. I do the Namo Tassa first, and then after that, you guys repeat after me. Okay? Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa.
Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa.
Buddhang Saranang Gacchami.
Buddhang Saranang Gacchami.
Dhammang Saranang Gacchami.
Dhammang Saranang Gacchami.
Sanghang Saranang Gacchami.
Sanghang Saranang Gacchami.
Tutiyampi saranang gacchami.
Dutiyampi Buddhang Saranang Gacchami.
Dutiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami.
Dutiyampi Dhammang Saranang Gacchami.
Dutiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami.
Dutiyampi Sanghang Saranang Gacchami.
Tatiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami.
Tatiyampi Buddhang Saranang Gacchami.
Tatiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami.
Tatiyampi Dhammang Saranang Gacchami.
Tatiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami.
Tatiyampi Sanghang Saranang Gacchami.
Saranang gamanang nitita.
Amma Bante.
Anatipata veramani sikkhapadang sammadiyami.
Panatipata Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami.
Adinadana veramani sikkhapadang sammadiyami.
Adinadana Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami.
Amesumicchachara veramani sikkhapadang sammadiyami.
Kamesu Michachara Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami.
Musawada veramani sikkhapadang sammadiyami.
Musavada Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami.
Surameraya majapamadatana veramani sikkhapadang sammadiyami.
Sura Meraya Maja Pamadatana Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami.
Imani pacha sikkhapadani sammadiyami. Sileni. Okay.
Imani Panchasika Padani Samadhiyami. Imani Panchasika Padani Samadhiyami. Imani Panchasika Padani Samadhiyami.
Imani pacha sikkhapadani sammadiyami. Silena sugatinyanti. Silena bhoga sampada. Silena nibutinyanti. Tasma silang visodaye.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Please be seated while we do the Metta Sutta.
This is what should be done.
By one who is skilled in goodness and who knows the path of peace, let them be able and upright, straightforward and gentle in speech, humble and not conceited, contented and easily satisfied, not busy with duties and frugal in their ways, peaceful and calm and wise and skillful, not proud and demanding in nature. Let them not do the slightest thing that the wise would later reprove, wishing in gladness and in safety. May all beings be happy, whatever living beings there may be, whether they are weak or strong, omitting none, the great or the mighty, medium, short or small, the seen and the unseen, those living near and far away, those born and to be born. May all beings be happy. Let none deceive another or despise any being in any state. Let none through anger or ill will wish harm upon another, even as a mother protects with her life her child, her only child, so with a boundless heart should one cherish all living beings, radiating kindness over the entire world, spreading upwards to the skies and downwards to the depths, outwards and unbounded, freed from hatred and ill will, whether standing or walking, seated or lying down, free from drowsiness. One should sustain this recollection. This is said to be the sublime abiding. By not holding to false views, the pure-hearted one, having clarity of vision, being freed from all sense desires, is not born again into this world. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. So today's talk, Ajahn will be speaking about happiness of contentment.
Okay. So we sit quietly for about 15 minutes.
Oh, yeah. Short meditation before the talk.
Yeah. So we still our mind. Mic. Okay. So to begin with, just spend a few minutes bringing our attention to the body. First, to set up a posture that is upright, but not super straight. And it's also a balance between allowing the body, being gentle with the body, allowing it to be comfortable, but also fostering, encouraging a sense of awareness and awakeness. And feel free to use the chairs or the cushions that's around. Because unless the body is comfortable, it's hard to settle the mind. So now we can just, if you like, we can close our eyes and bring your awareness into the different parts of your body, soothing, relaxing. You can also remind yourself, for the next 15 minutes, it's meditation time. Time just to be here, be awake. Time just to rest in the present moment. Rest in the body. you find that the mind drifts away to different thoughts and plans, ideas, to the past, to the future, just to gently remind yourself, happy to be here. Or you say, do a mantra, rest in the present moment. Rest and relax. No need to talk, no need to think or judge. Just to rest. Just for a few moments. Nothing to do, nowhere to go. Full license, complete permission just to rest in the here and now. Rest in the present moment. So, should we start? So welcome to the Buddhist Fellowship. Thanks for coming to celebrate the Lunar New Year with us all. And I was saying the other day, that's traditional, right? The New Year wish that we say to each other. May this year bring you lots of health, wealth, good family, much success. Year of the rabbit, supposed to be pretty auspicious, I suppose. And I think they do it in Vietnamese as well. May you always get all that you desire. May everything turn out just as you want it to be. And it's a nice sentiment. But coming here, I'm going to offer you something even better than getting what you want. Instead of may you get always what you want. May everything turns out as your wishes. Even that happens. Even you're quite lucky, have the great fortune or the energy and the wisdom, but mostly good fortune to get everything lined up just the way you want it. A great promotion, get a big house, no fighting with your husbands or wives. The kids are just so good. They listen to everything you do, you tell them to. They don't play video games. They get all straight A's. A lot of times those things don't happen, obviously. Because we live in the real world. We don't live in the fantasy world. But sometimes those things do line up and you get that. But what I'm going to offer you is something even better than that. What's better than that, you're thinking? I'm wishing you may be so content that you're happy with what you have already. So you can be happy right here, right now. You don't have to wait till when you get what you want to be happy. But you can focus on all that you have right here, right now. All that's already here, and appreciate that. Okay, that is a much more stable type of happiness. Like I was saying, the happiness of contentment. As most of you know, Buddhism is about different levels of happiness. There's always the worldly happiness that mostly people wish, and that's fine. You know, wealth, health, peace and harmony and success. And that is a certain level of happiness. But those are quite conditioned. It needs a lot of support to keep it going and to make it happen. You know, just take health for certain, right? These days, you know, we have a lot of good doctors and lots of science going to telling what's healthy for us. But even so, you still get sick. Your knee still hurts. Your back still hurts. And you still get old. Your teeth fall out, your hair turns gray. It's like, what? All this science, all these vitamins we're taking, we still get old? Oh, so unfair. So even to be a certain level of health, you have to exercise, do your yoga, wake up early, do all sorts of things. So that's a lot of supports that come together just to maintain this body. Even then, there's no guarantee. You still get sick from time to time. Pandemic happens, and you're stuck. So the happiness of the worldly happiness, it is a sort of happiness, but it's so unreliable, unstable. So as practitioner, we're aiming at something more stable. I know the world tells you that it's, you know, it's good to, we all want to be happy. But what does that mean in terms of happiness? And the usual happiness that is offered in the mainstream media is the happiness of, you know, good job, family, good health. extra car, new iPhone, whatever it is, that's the next thing. But like I said, it is so unreliable. And then you get it, and of course the mind is a fickle thing. It doesn't want that anymore. It's not so interested in a new iPhone after a couple of weeks. You get bored with it. You want something else. Maybe a holiday is good. Or the new Samsung thing. So this happiness of sense pleasure just always on to the next thing. It's never ending. So as practitioner, you should aim for something a bit more stable. Aim for the happiness of contentment. If you're happy, you're content to what you have. You don't need to look for the next thing. You don't need to wait for the next thing to be happy. You're already happy here. I know you guys are telling me, oh, that's boring, Ajahn. I don't want to be happy with what I have. I don't want this. My iPhone is old. I want the next one. I want the new features. I want the new Tesla. That's so exciting. But then as practitioners, you have to keep reminding ourselves that this sense of excitement, of sense of reaching out, of wanting the next thing, if you are sensitive and you're meditated, you can see that this yearning, longing, reaching out for things is a lot of stress and suffering. Because I always say people don't give you the Tesla car for free, right? You got to work overtime. You got to save your money to get it. So that's a lot of, you have to give up other things. So a lot of stress and tension. You got to give up your children's college fund so that you get a new Tesla. Something's got to give, or your wife's holiday to get the new thing. And then when you get it, you have to have insurance, wash it, clean it, make sure that nobody puts a dent in it. So these things, yeah, a new car is nice, but it doesn't come for free. The constant of yearning, constant of looking after these things causes a certain amount of stress, a certain amount of tension in your life. But if you're happy with the old beat-up Toyota that's 10 years old, you don't have to worry. You don't have to work extra hard to get a new car. You can wash it when you feel like it, but it's not such a big deal. Insurance is not very expensive. And life is simple. So with sense pleasure, there's always a trade-off. So it's good to keep that in mind. And I know, Singapore is a busy place. Everybody's very busy. Lots of things to go. So at least I'm glad that you made it to this morning to come, because you have a busy schedule. And Sunday, you got to squeeze in this Dhamma talk before you do all your, home chores and all that, because you have to go to work on Monday. So it does. Life is busy. But I'm here just to remind you, it's all about balance. That you don't always have to go to every single, the BF might not like me, every single Sunday night talk, Sunday morning talk. You don't have to go. There's not like a 10 spiritual points you get when you go to every Sunday talk. You go when you have time, and you go, but most important is you apply what you learn into your daily life. Whatever it is that you hear on Sunday, you don't just leave it here. You bow, you thank you very much, and you go back and you rush around. You got to get things done, bits and pieces. Hopefully you apply some of that wisdom, some of the teachings in your daily life to bring a bit more peace, a bit more stillness in your life. Because even, like I said, in the spiritual practice, we're always rushing around. There's always new retreats to go to, a new teacher to come to town. I remember, I think the BF does it. I think certainly some monastery does it. You have these tours to the holy places, 3 weeks. And you go to like 85 places. You come back and you can't remember anything. 2 weeks, and you go to about 25 places. You go back, how was it? I'm not sure. We spent a lot of time on the bus. You run to the place, take a quick picture, and you go back to the bus. And there's no time to really absorb anything, to really kind of take it all in. Just sit quietly. So going forward, if you came yesterday, you've only heard myself. But for the year of the rabbit, I'm going to kick the rabbit out. Replace it with the tortoise, okay? Instead of rushing around to do more things, even spiritual thing, more retreat, meditate more, I'm here to tell you, don't. This year, you have full permission of Ajahn Khemavaro. Ajahn says, I don't have to do anything this year. I can do less. Do less. Less retreats, okay? Less thing on your bucket list. Like I said, you can throw it away if you want to, but like, oh, well, I do. It's a few things I really want to get, though. Okay, well, minimize. What do you call that? Thin out your bucket list. Take a few items off the bucket list. And enjoy the present moment. Enjoy all that you have already here. Okay, you're not perfectly enlightened. Your meditation is not great. And you're kind of cranky at times. But that's okay. You're fine the way you are. Because the way you are is based on causes and condition. You can't be any other way than you are. So as long as you feel, give yourself some gentleness, some kindness, relax in the present moment. Look at all the good things that you already have in your life. Yeah, okay, your wife is not a supermodel. Your husband's not a CEO, but you know, not everybody can be supermodels and CEO. But they're a nice person. They're good people. They're Buddhist. They keep most of the precepts, most of the time. They're not perfect. But nobody is. Nobody is. So this year we rest in our imperfection. We're content with the way things are, with all that we have. And when you look and appreciate all that you have, the mind starts to brighten up. It starts to slow down. And you have time to rest. Because sometimes, you know, our life can be very, very busy. We rush around from one thing to the next, and it all kind of looks good. I'm going to go help the soup kitchen. After the soup kitchen, I'm going to go exercise because I want good health. And after exercise, I'm going to go get my kid and have him tutoring to extra math classes. When I go home, I got to wash my wash my car, clean my house. And then I've got to squeeze in an hour of meditation because if I don't meditate, then I feel really guilty. And then you're completely tired the next day, the next week. And these things individually seems like a good idea. But when anything, use your innate wisdom. Use the common sense. All these good things, but are they producing good results? Are you really enjoying the things that you're doing? Are you really here with me right now, listening to the Dhamma talk? Or are you waiting to go, oh, I think you better hurry up. I got to go to another appointment. I got to go to my gym class now. So whatever this you do, try to be fully present. Try to be here. And as we move forward, we have these digital devices. We live in a world that is reactions almost instantaneous, which kind of conditions, encourages us, pushes us along. And things are moving faster and faster. But ask yourself, are you happier? Or are you more stressed out with all the things that you do, all the lifestyle you're making, all the choices you're making now? You don't feel happier. You feel an increased sense of well-being, an increased sense of connection with all the loved ones, with all your loved ones. then it's good to take a second look, and maybe try something else. You've been cramming in retreats for the last 20 years. Cramming in, going to the monasteries. We literally have people that do 10 monasteries every weekend. They go in offer food, go in there offer food, because this idea, this spiritual consumerism, idea of ching ching, you get 10 points, one monastery you go to. The second monastery, double, 20 points. Woo! But you get enough the spiritual points, I'm going to go right to Nibbana. It's not quite like that. More is not always better. Even in meditation, even in going to monastery, even doing donations, even doing those things. Sometimes less is better. Because it's not how many monasteries you go to, but whether when you're there, you're present. When there, you bring a sense of happiness, sense of joy, when you're truly there. The year of 2023 is less is more. Okay. So next time I come and nobody's here, I'll be happy. Less is more. Less is more. So Ajahn told me not to come. I already seen Ajahn already a couple of years ago. That's fine. Because, sometimes we do rush around, but it's good just to slow down, be more still. Allow, and I also remind people over and over again, whatever it is that you're looking for in the world, peace, love, acceptance, sense of well-being, a connection with the world around you, more respect. It is really all those good, wholesome qualities. It's already inside of you, in your mind, in the present moment. You just have to slow down, be still long enough for these things to come together, to manifest. For your mind to appreciate that you are good enough, that you are peaceful enough, that you do have the wisdom to figure out things on your own. Don't always have to rely on the books or the gurus. That you, deep inside, you have enough Dhamma inside yourself to trust the process. Trust the Dhamma inside of yourself. And whatever it is that's happening, whatever it is that you're experiencing, just be aware. Suffering just feels like this. It's not the end of the world. You don't have to escape from it. Happiness just also feels like this. You're not going to live forever, you're happy, but it's good. So just be aware, be present, and everything will come together in good time. So it's it's good to come to encourage each other in the practice. And to remind ourselves. Sometimes, Kalyana Mitta is very beautiful. Sometimes it's good to have a group of friendship, of Dhamma practitioners, just to remind ourselves of the basic truths of the practice of existence. Your friends are not in Dhamma, then of course they'll encourage you to go there, go here, go to the shopping mall, you're going to go to BF again. That is so boring, They say the same thing over and over again. Ajahn Brahm just tells the same jokes. You've seen him already 3 times. I was a new teacher. Oh, there are Ajahn Brahm's disciples. They also tell the same jokes. But it's good that we have, friends in the practice. They encourage us to continue with the practice. Continue being harmless, keeping the 5 precepts. Even though we feel a bit disappointed, even though we feel tired, Otherwise, the friends will drag you to the malls, the shopping malls, drag you to the pubs, drag you into the other parties that are just a distraction in life. That allows more distraction than you. Then it's harder to keep the precepts when everybody around you is drinking. It's normal. So have faith in the practice, have faith in the journey, have faith in your own, unfolding of the Dhamma. But as we move forward, it's good to learn to support each other, to offer words of encouragement. And just remember that we're all here together, walking the same way. So I try to remind people, even in the monastery, try not to compete with each other, but complement each other. You see somebody meditating, really still, really happy, then have a sense of mudita. Oh, I'm so happy for you. You're sitting so beautiful. You have a nice smile on your face. Oh, that's so beautiful. Your first meditation, oh, I'm so happy for you. Been doing this for 10 years and I still haven't got anywhere. Never mind, I'm happy for you. Instead of competing with each other, oh, I'm not going to move unless she moves. I'm going to be the last person to leave the meditation hall. She sits for 3 hours. I'm going to sit 3 hours and 10 minutes. And see what happens. And we're here to support each other. We are from the human family. When one person progresses in the Dhamma, we all succeed in that way. So when we practice also for each other. When you meditate and you're feeling more happy, more calmed, those kind of beautiful energies radiates naturally outward. And all your friends and family can feel that, can experience that. And when you're grumpy, irritated, guess what happens as well? You also let them have it. All the negative emotions all comes out. You get cranky, you start yelling at your husband. You start yelling at the kid. You're always playing that video games. When you do that, and you have some mother even go and they yank the Wi-Fi out of the wall. That teach them. And then they get into a big fight. And that's, you can see how anger and irritation, if it's in yourself, it starts to leak outwards. And it also affects other people around you. So when you're meditating, purifying your mind, cultivating wholesome states, you're just not doing for yourself. You're doing for the whole world. So when people tell you, oh, you're just being selfish, all you do is watch your breath all day long. What are you doing for the world? You've got to help some soup kitchen. Start a hospital or something. Those are good. But I think having a peaceful mind, having a sense of happiness inside you is also very important for this world of ours. You want to change the world, start with this thing inside first. Because it's also harder to purify our mind. But something that is achievable. And something that's very, very important as well. So yes, we live in a world that is very busy, that is fast-moving, changing. But we also have the tools to cope. And one thing that the pandemic, the last 3 or 4 years, just shown that if you have a practice, you have the Buddha and the Dhamma and the Sangha, you have lots of great tools to use to cope. I really feel bad for people who don't have a practice and they get trapped in the apartment for 6 months or a year, like Melbourne. Yeah, the amount of mental suffering when you are not ready for those kind of condition, can be quite overbearing. You don't know anything else. If your word is the word of holidays and going out and going to coffee shops and so on, and you can't do that. Wow, imagine the suffering of not having the Dhamma in your life, not having the Buddha in your life. So as the world changes, as the speed fast, as the moves, it accelerates with different technology. It's good that we have a refuge, something reliable in the Dhamma, to learn to adapt to the changing situation. And that's why the practice is interesting. You don't have to go anywhere. Things are changing on their own. Our practice is to learn to adapt to the present moment, which is constantly changing. Learning to be content with whatever it is. Not trying to push things away that you don't like, and not trying to yearn for things that you don't already have. Contentment is the highest happiness. And the more you reflect on it, the more you put into practice, the more you understand, really, true happiness can only really be experienced in the present moment. Everything else is just a concept, an idea. Oh, it'd be really cool to get a Tesla. Well, that's 6 months away, a year away. Until then, you're suffering. It'd be really cool if I get a jhana. Well, you don't get it yet, then you're suffering. Every single sit, oh, no jhana yet. Oh, wow, so close, so close. But we also have one, I think one Norwegian man, business guy, so he's very focused, and he must have some good karma somewhere. First retreat, he fluked it, got into jhana, so happy, told everybody, and which is great. But then, he keep coming every 10 days, he shows up because he's busy, but he still wants to get that jhana again. So he comes back, he's trying to do the same thing. He said, oh, I got into jhana when I do lying down meditation. Can I do that, Ajahn? It's like, okay, I guess so, you wanted to. So he does the lying down, he has his favorite drink next to him. He's trying to replicate the same conditions that happened when he had that fluke. And he's been doing that for the last 15 years. No jhanas. And I try to encourage him, the jhana happened because you let go. You had no expectation. But as soon as your defilements come up, you want it back. That's the problem. So as we practice, we meditate, remember, happy to be sitting here. Happy not to be talking, thinking, judging. Just bring up a sense of happiness for what you have here already. No yearning, no wanting, no wishing. Even for nimitta, even for a bit of pita sukha. When you're happy, you're content, those things arise naturally. Peace arises because the mind is not moving. If you want something, then it's not still, it's moving. It wants things. It's yearning, reaching. So your practice, when you're sitting down or when you're not sitting down, when you're going around your daily life, sometimes good mantra to say, contentment is the highest happiness. I don't need good health to be happy. I can be happy with the body I have right here, with a bad knee, with the bad eyes, bad heart. And that's the beauty of the practice. When the Buddha became enlightened, he didn't live in the perfect world either. He didn't have the perfect body. He had a bad back. He died of food poisoning, sort of. He had pain here and there. But he also became enlightened. But he left us also some great instructions. And one of the main things is the external conditions doesn't really determine your inner happiness. Your inner happiness is something that you can control, you focus on. And it's through contentment, through acceptance, through forgiveness, that the mind becomes more still, becomes at peace. So for the wonderful new lunar year of 2023, here the rabbit, I wish that you never get anything you want. But that you're happy with all that you have. May you always be happy with whatever you have. May you rejoice in this old body that you have. May you rejoice in the lazy husband that you have. May we rejoice in whatever is here already. I offer that for your reflection today.
Sadhu, sadhu.
Questions or comments?
Yeah. Anyone want to start the ball rolling? Thank you.
Good morning, Ajahn. So, from my experience, I can see there are two kinds of wanting. The first thing is the wanting that I can't easily get. Like, for example, if I want a Tesla, I can't get a Tesla right now. But there's another kind of wanting where I can easily get it. Like with a snap of a finger, I can get it. So if I want something that I cannot easily get, I think it's easier for me to, sort of slow down and try to be content with what I already have. But with the other kind of wanting, it's very hard for me to realize this one thing because I can easily get it, and the moment I realize it, it's already too late. I already got it, and I end up having all these things that I don't really need. So, and I think that this kind of wanting is equally or probably more dangerous because I feel like I keep feeding this greed unknowingly, right? So, can you help me with some tips to realize how to be aware of this subtle wanting? Sure. Thank you.
Sure. First is to accept that unless you're fully enlightened, there'll be these little wantings, little sensual desires, wanting an ice cream, wanting a new shirt or tie, new pair of shoes. That's normal. Sometimes you don't, just because you're a Buddhist or practitioner, doesn't mean that you have to walk around in 10-year-old tennis shoes all day long because, oh, no, I can't buy some, it still works. Buy anything new is greed. Buy anything new is ego. You don't have to do it. You can enjoy, obviously, enjoy your wealth, enjoy things. But it's, moderation. You don't need, 10 pairs of tennis shoes. Right? So sometimes that's what it does. It goes overboard like that. You don't need 50 ties, which was, what I had. When you're bored, you go buy a tie. You're bored, buy new tennis shoes. So that is, those kind of desires are, there's not a balance. It's too much. And that's the thing to remind yourself. Once you get it, you also ask yourself, okay, this is what it feels when I get these things. Interesting. And then, even after you get it, if it was like a good idea. Oh, yeah, a new shirt sounds like a good idea. And you get home, you're like, oh, God, I have 10 shirts that I haven't worn yet. Okay, so then you keep reminding yourself, next time this thought comes, oh, it'll be nice, this shirt looks nice, I'll get it. And you're like, no, I've got 10 shirts that I haven't worn yet. Yeah, so you remind yourself before, remind yourself during, remind yourself afterwards. And also keep doing that, and it starts to sink in. Because sometimes people shop and they get remorse. But they don't remind themselves and they keep forgetting and then they go do it again. So keep reminding yourself, is this going to be happiness? I did this before. Is this, I'm going to go and I'm going to get that great thing that I saw that attracted your eyes. But is this going to bring happiness? I remember doing this last week. And that only lasted like, a few minutes. And then I'm stuck with all these things in my house that I don't really need and I haven't used. Yeah. So it's just a thing of just kind of like mindfulness, awareness, and reflection. Yeah. And then once you keep doing that, and you get better at it. Yeah. Okay. Great.
Thank you, Ajahn.
But it's always a balance. To enjoy, you can enjoy the things that you have. You don't need to, like I said, eat the same food every day. Because otherwise it's sense pleasure.
Great answer, Ajahn.
Thank you, Ajahn. when we take the 5 precepts, the first one is that we are not supposed to kill living beings.
Mm-hmm.
As you said, in our daily life, sometimes you cannot keep all the 5,
Mm-hmm.
but we can probably keep most of them. I grow vegetables, and I have snails, I have caterpillars, I have aphids, you know. For snails it's very easy. I just put them in a plastic bag and then put them in a bin. Hopefully, you know, I'll send metta to them, you know, may you be well and happy and find your own way. For caterpillars, I put them in a box and I feed them with the same leaves that they eat. Then I'm just thinking, you know, am I deluding myself? Because when I release them, they're going to reproduce and then lay more eggs and have more caterpillars and eat up my vegetables. So should I breed them or should I put them in a bin and send metta to them? Then I've got aphids which are too small and too damaging for me to breed them.
Which one? What is it?
Aphids and some mealybugs, just little ones. I spray them sometimes. Sometimes I just cut away the branches, put them in a plastic bag, put them in the bin, send metta to them. And I find that, you know, when I do all these things, am I deluding myself? Will the snails be able to survive? Will the caterpillars, if I put in a bin, will they be able to survive? Yeah, so effectively I'm killing them, you know. So is that the right thing to do? What should I do?
Yeah, well, at least it's, you're thinking about it and you're bringing some awareness into your relationship with these animals. And there's one thing it does remind you is, first it's the intention of killing. So, okay, so you're not intending outright to smash them. But sometimes, you know, we have to go further. Yeah, when you put into the bin, yeah, obviously something tells you, well, what happens to these bins? They get, you know, sometimes they get thrown, I don't know how they do here, but they get thrown into the trash and they all get smashed up and they die eventually. Or you can just put in, you know, be a bit more mindful, but aware, put into the box, and maybe once a week, you take the box and you just put it into the nature reserve over there or something. So there are places that you can put them into. But also, it is doing something is better than nothing. So at least you are bringing some awareness, some care into trying to at least, you know, prolong the lives of the insects. Some people just, you know, spray insecticides on them and finish them off once and for all. But at least you're trying to extend it. Yeah. So the rule is not to intentionally kill, but that there are many grades, obviously, of, you know, gray area in dealing with animals. And that's part of life. Life is complicated, but you try to bring as much care into it as you're able to do. But there's always more you can do. But you know, it's a trade-off. Depends where you live, how easy it is for you to get these animals into a forest or into a place, you know, that they can continue living. Yeah. So you know, only you can know how much you can do when you into these things.
Yes,
Yeah.
I think for snails, I do put them in the reserve.
Yeah.
Or, you know, in a field,
Yeah.
where I feel that probably they won't be spraying insecticides. But for caterpillars, they eat only a particular type of leaves. So you cannot just put them in a forest. They may not have that kind of leaves to survive, you know. So effectively, I can't do anything except to either, I don't know.
Yes, that's the suffering of having things. And also living. I mean, you know, like even when our houses, you might not see them, but when they do, you know, when they build a house, they scrape the earth and they kill lots of things in there. So it is, we live in a life that is not perfectly, you know, harmless in that way, but you try the best you can. And hopefully you also try to do good things to counteract all this, you know, unintentional killing that we all do. Yeah. Even if you are vegan, you are living, if you're living, you're stepping on things, your cars running around, you smash the bugs. But hopefully it's your intention, you rest on your intention when you drive the car, it's not to smash the bugs. Sometimes at night, they come out and they get smashed. But that's not your intention. Yeah, so you can rest on that you're doing the best you can and, giving the lifestyle. We, no matter what we do, where we are hurting, killing beings, because obviously, even the tofu that we eat, they surely get sprayed by insecticides for the farms to come in, and that's just part of that. But hopefully, you're also generating good karma, being kind and gentle to the beings that you come into contact with. Yeah, and sometimes that is the best you can do.
Thank you, Ajahn.
At least you're not going to restaurants and picking the fish that floats around, that swims around in the fish tank, something like that. So that's much better, right? Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Bhante. So maybe Bhante, I want to talk about mano karma which arise from our thought. So I give an example that sometimes when we think of somebody, there's a thought which comes very fast. I give example. I'm thinking about A. Then the mind quickly tells us, oh, this A, that time ever did something wrong toward us. Yeah. So my question is that, okay, sometimes when we practice mindfulness, we can note the mind arising. Then we can know, oh, this mind is thinking about someone and have aversion about somebody. So the next thing is the mind tells us that, oh, no, this is not our mind. This is not good. I'm not going to think of this. And I want to be neutral. So my question is that when this thought arise, thinking of somebody who is doing something wrong toward us, does the karma happen already or not? Because subsequently there is another thought tell us that with our good virya, we know that this is not a right mind, we are abolishing this one. So is it a bad karma or not? Thank you, Bhante.
No, it's actually good karma. Because the first thought is something you cannot control or have very little control over. So someone did something to you that wasn't nice. So sometimes it's only normal when you think of them, you remember that negative thing. But hopefully being a practitioner, you also are aware that, okay, you know what, yeah, they borrow my money and they haven't returned it, but that's okay. I'm not mixing it. Maybe they need more than I do, and it's gone anyway, so I shouldn't carry this negativity around me. It's no good. So then you don't act on it. You don't keep dwelling on the negativity. You find way to let go and to forgive them. Yeah, so that's a good karma to do that. Yeah. And the first karma, a lot of times you have very little control over. It's not that we don't get irritated. It's not that we don't get greedy. It's what you do with those thoughts and those emotions when they arise. That's what the practice is.
Okay, Bhante, I'm happy to know that one. So, I mean, the next is that, we are talking about this ahosi karma which does not get effect, but it usually happens to Arahant only. Yeah. So, how for us as a human being, as a normal practitioner, to have this kind of thing, such as when we go outside, sometimes we see somebody who is not in a good condition, sorry to say there's a beggar there, but when we see them, we tell our mind to be very neutral. I'm not going to judge him. I'm not going to feel sorry for him, but I'm neutral. I may not be able to help him, but I'm neutral. Is it a bad karma or good karma, Bhante?
I think we can overthink our mental states. And what you can do is you can focus on, like I said, not judging. May you be well and happy. Yeah. You may not, if you want to, you can support them. Otherwise, you say, well, maybe if I give some money, I don't know what he's going to do. Maybe he'll go and take more, buy alcohol or something. So I don't know. So, but you can, if you don't have time, you can just say, may you be well. May you be happy. Yeah. And send those kind of good thoughts out to them.
So if we say that, may you be well, happy, but we do not give some money to him, is it wrong?
No, depends on why you're not giving money. You're not giving money because you are stingy, or you're not giving money because you say, well, I saw last week that, he went to the bottle shop and he bought some drinks, so I'm not giving money. So it depends on why you're not giving money. It's more important than whether you give or not give. Sometimes people give out of guilt. Oh, I can't be bothered to figure out what's the good things. I'll just give you some money and run away. Otherwise, you can say, you know what, I have 10 minutes. Maybe I ask him what he wants and go into the sandwich shop and get him a sandwich. Yeah.
So Bante,
So it depends on the time and circumstances, and only you will know what your intention is, what your true intention is. Yeah.
So Bante, if we say that we do not give him the money, but we are just telling ourselves, I am natural, may you be well, happy, but we don't give him money, is it wrong?
Not necessary. Not necessarily wrong.
Maybe,
Depends on why you give him money.
Yeah.
The more important, why you give him money.
Maybe my question, if we don't give him money, but we just say, may you be well, happy, our mind is very natural, can I summarize that this is not a bad karma, however, this is not additionally good karma?
Yeah,
correct.
I mean, it is. It's not bad karma, but if you can do more, and then you do as much as you can. Yeah, and that's what I mean. So each circumstance is slightly different, and it depends on the reason why you're doing these things. Sometimes you're like, may you say, oh, may you be well and happy, but you don't really mean that. You're like, I just don't want to see you. I got an appointment. Then that is not as good as may you truly be well and happy, like really feel it. And then, I'm busy today, but okay, maybe next time I see you, I'm going to try to do more. So it's always different, intention of floating through your mind. And generally, it's like I said, you do the best that you can. Sometimes you're like, oh, I can't look at you now, I'm in a hurry. And then you feel guilty later on. But that's still okay. Then you remind yourself, okay, next time when I see another person, homeless person, and if I have time, I'll try to do more. I'll try to be more generous. I have given more time. At least just stop and ask him, is there anything I can get for you? Yeah, so it depends on how you're doing that. Yeah.
So Bante, can I, this continue. So the more we practice, the more we are mindful.
Yeah.
We know that when we do something, there's a vibration in our heart to tell us what we did is whether it's good or not good. Is it okay, Bante?
Yeah, generally there is a compass. It becomes more clear. The more clear you are, the more you can see your intention behind it. And it's also, intention is a mixed thing. Sometimes it's 70% good, 30% dark. The Buddha said that. So it's not always perfect, white or black. There is a lot of gray in the middle. And sometimes you don't see clearly until afterwards. Yeah. Because I hear that people dismiss all the time, oh, you shouldn't give money to these beggars, they're just buying alcohol. Maybe it's true, but maybe it isn't. And sometimes it's easy to dismiss that because they can't be bothered. So you have to see the reason why you're not doing what you're doing, or why you're doing what you do. Other times it's also too easy. Just put a $20, you feel, oh, I'm really good. I gave a homeless person $20. But then you don't know, you're just not really so much metta, but you just want to get them on your face and have a bit of feel good. But you don't know, you haven't investigated what that person is going to do with the $20. Is he going to go get something to eat, which is great? Or he's going to go into the bottle shop and get, a bottle of whiskey. Yeah, and that's not so great, so common for him or for you. Yeah.
Okay, we'll have one last question before Ajahn takes his leave for his lunch.
Good morning. That brings up the same question when I walk along the streets in Melbourne, in Perth. We see those homeless with the dogs. My son said, don't give. But he has a sign that we are kicked out of the house, we can't pay the rent. So from your experience, is this really true? Or they're tugging our hearts, putting a dog along with him in the cold winter outside, along Coles or along David Brooks shops, along the streets? Thank you.
I haven't really thoroughly investigated these scenario, but I think in the West there's not so much of a scam. I understand that in Bangkok they put all this kind of, and it's really sad, but they put all these kind of handicapped kids around, and it's just a scam to get the tourists to give money, and a lot of money don't even go to them. It goes to some kind of gang people that kind of put all these kids around just to get money. But in Melbourne and stuff, now I noticed that homeless people like to have dogs. I don't know why, but they do. So it's not a thing to tug your thing. I think it's like company, a little protection, because if they're sleeping, someone comes and hurt them, the dogs will wake them up. So I don't think it's like kind of a scam. I think homeless people in the West are mostly there because mental issues. That either they lost their job or they have some kind of mental conditions that are not treated. Yes, a lot of mental issues in the homelessness in the West, in Australia, and in the U.S. That's my understanding. Yeah.
Thank you, Ajahn. We will stop there so that Ajahn can have his lunch. We will request, we will share merits first, and then request for blessing from Ajahn. First, someone has requested we share metta with Sis Michelle's, our staff father, who has had a surgery, a recent surgery. So may he get well soon, Mr. Tan Chong Hong. Then now let's share merits with all sentient beings. Etta vata cha amhehi sambatang punya sampadang sabbe deva anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya etta vata cha amhehi sambatang punya sampadang sabbe bhuta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya etta vata cha amhehi sambatang punya sampadang sabbe satta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Let us share merits with our departed relatives and friends. Idang me nyatinang hotu sukita hontu nyatayo. Idang me nyatinang hotu sukita hontu nyatayo. Idang me nyatinang hotu sukita hontu nyatayo.
Yatha vrivaha pura paripurantu sagarang evamewa eto dinang petanang upakapati ititang patitang tumhang kipame wasamichatu sabbe purantu sankapa chando panaraso yatha mani jyotiraso yatha sabitiyo vivajantu sambarogo Vinasatu mate bhavadvantarayo sukhi dhiga yuko bhava abhivadana sani chang buddhapachayino chattaro dhamma vadante ayuvano sukhang balang agato vepasananang agang dhammang vichanatang Again bunde pasananang dake naye anutare Again dhamme pasananang virago pasame sukang Age Sangye Pasananang Punya Kete Anutare Agasaming Danang Dadatang Agang Punyang Pawadati Agang Ayucha Wanocha Yaso Kiti Sukang Balang Agasa Data Medawi Agadama Samahito Dewa Bhuto Manutso Wa Agapato Pamodati Iti Bhavatu Sabha Mangalang Rakantu Sabha Devata Samba Buddha Nubhavena Sada Soti Bhavantu Te Bhavatu Sabha Mangalang Rakantu Sabha Devata Samba Dhamma Nubhavena Sada Soti Bhavantu Te Bhavatu Sabha Mangalang Rakantu Sabha Devata Samba Sangha Nubhavena Sada Soti Bhavantu Te.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Let's pay respects to the Triple Gem and then Ajahn. Arahang Sama Sambuddho Bhagava Buddhang Bhagavanta Abhivademi. To Bhagavata Dhammo Dhammang Namasami. Bhagavato Sawaka Sangho Sanghang Namami. Let's pay respects to Ajahn.